So call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. I think I saw Jean. I didn't see Jean.
This is the first opportunity she's had to sit down.
I'm gonna start off before, then it doesn't need to be put in the minutes. John's got an announcement he wants to make.
Thursday. Unrehearsed. So. I haven't really broadcast this to a lot of people, but some of you are privy to it. I didn't do that. I wasn't sure it was gonna happen. The world has turned and made me a place in North Carolina. Located for job. Teaching job in the fall. Yeah, have to be ready in a month to teach 5 courses. So, my life's about to change really fast in a big way, in a good way. This has been a great experience, all of you. This has been my only board experience, and I gotta say, just call it on a high note. The years it's been, but I have really enjoyed it. So next, I'll be here in the flesh for the next meeting, but that is the last time I'll be in the flesh. I am open to and committed to, if need be, continuing on. Certainly as treasurer, for as long as that needs to happen, we've been talking about it as a finance committee, how maybe to bring in new blood for the treasurer role, just as that's underneath me. Way the world. Also just sitting in the board meetings that do that too. At least maintain treasurer for duties and so we can. Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's
Yeah, you've been a great treasurer and a board member. You've been on since I've been on it.
yeah,
I would not have known this was your first.
it's true.
I will always think of you when I go into the room that will be the archives room. You worked really hard on.
Yeah. For a short amount of time, and then I said, and that's it. Just how it is.
So with that being said, we will work with the board to develop next step, what we're gonna do. And I'm not gonna say thank you yet because we still want to look at.
We still got no anti-comment.
Your treasury,
Yeah.
okay. So next item, agenda, changes and additions, and I see Star raising her hand.
Okay, I would like to request that we move the, under new business, the guardianship of the Brattleboro Woods Trail mural, up to the top of the agenda, so Lisa doesn't have to spend the entire meeting here to discuss that. Not that you wouldn't find it fascinating, but yeah.
Sure, I would.
We can do that.
Okay.
That sounds good. Public comments. So do we want to start with it right away?
Yeah, we can do that.
Would you
We
like
can do that.
to us about the Brattleboro Works Trail Morals, the new impact station?
Yes,
And introduce yourself.
I'd love to. So I'm Lisa Weinman. I've been working with Star for a long time, really, on the Brattleboro Words Trail. Is everyone familiar with the Brattleboro Words Trail? Does anybody not know what it is? Okay. So back in 2017, we applied for a National Endowment for the Humanities grant, Building Humanities Communities, it was called. And we thought it was a long shot, but a bunch of us got together, we concocted an idea, we submitted, and indeed we got, it was a 3.5-year grant to achieve certain things. 2 products, which was an app and a website that provides sort of a map, which some of you've seen, of both downtown Brattleboro and the region, and looks at sites important in the history of words. So you know, Kipling's house, for instance, is on the Brattleboro Works Trail. The site of the first Brattleboro reformer, and we used community voices, community people to tell the stories of those places, mapped it out. There's an app that you can get from Apple or anywhere you get your, app store stuff. And you can download it for free, and it will guide you through these tours and these places, so that if you're standing in front of Brooks, you can hear about, Omar Czar Bradley, a former librarian in Brooks. Or you can stand in front of the bookstore and hear, about Stephen Green Press and, anyway. Hildreth Company, I mean, the town has a fascinating literary history and history of printing and publishing, which we have taken all the various threads and we've woven them together to create this trip. So, there's I looked recently, but there's probably about 1,200 or 1,400 by now downloads of the app. We get a lot of hits on our website. And since then, we've also created a monthly Brattleboro Workshop podcast, which is just a longer version of some of the stories, because all the segments are knocked down to like 5-7 minute segments so that you can easily do it, walking around. In order to create this map, we actually enlisted the support of a local artist, Cynthia Parker Houghton. Some of you might know her. She works at Natalie Blake's studio. Natalie is a world-renowned ceramicist. And she created these murals for us in ceramic. They're pretty big. One is about 5 by 3 feet, 5 by 4 feet, I guess. And then there's a smaller downtown one that's about 3 feet by 2 feet. And they're made from clay, and they're glazed, and they're beautiful. And they've been at my location, which is 118 Elliott. That's a venue that I run with my husband and some other partners. And they've been there, but they debuted at the Brattleboro Museum and Art Center back in 2019, end of 2019, October 2019, right before COVID. But at any rate, that's where they have been. And the great vision was to have them at the Amtrak station, and Amtrak agreed, and we've been working with Amtrak to actually have these murals in a exhibit on the outside track facing wall of the new station. And they recently did a groundbreaking. Some of you might have read about it in the newspaper, and they mentioned that the art project was going to be there, and several of the speakers that they mentioned had also. So it's a done deal. And the murals are going to be installed here. This is their Amtrak schematic of the station, and you can see where they'll be. We're working with a small group, including Tom Bodette and Hatch Space, to create a case for the murals that would be durable. Claude Blaget is one of Tom's friends, and he's a master carpenter. He's actually doing the build. It will have plexiglass, be protected, and there'll also be mention on that exhibit of the African American Heritage Trail, which we've also done some segments, audio segments on that for the Brattleboro Words Trail, and Printtown, which was the second product of that NEH grant, which was this book that also encapsulates this history. And again, community produced. There was 40+ authors involved in this book. Since then, the project has won various awards. It won Best History Project Award from the Vermont Historical Society, and it won a national award as well from the American Association of State and Local History Societies, AALSH or whatever. So it's been very well received, and it's being used, and people love it. So what we're asking from Brooks, which is STAR's been on our advisory council, and we first began at Marlborough College, and then it's dissolved. So we moved our operations and our account to the Vermont Folk Life Center. And that's where our money is. And that's where our little advisory group has been situated, including STAR, Professor William Edelglass, Shanta Lee, some of you might know, is on there, Ralph Parker, Sally Seymour. And that's our little group that oversees the project at large, because we continue to make these stories and we continue to add little dots on them, the ceramic map. So it's a living, the mural itself is, it's a living thing. As stories come up, as things are revealed, as signs are placed, we add to that. So when we began to work with Amtrak, they wanted to know who owns the mural. And we didn't really have a good answer. Folk Life Center has been an amazing fiscal agent for us, but they have no real interest in owning a mural in Brattleboro. So we began talking, we thought maybe the museum, but what became readily apparent was that Brooks Library really was the entity that made the most sense to potentially own this exhibit at the Amtrak station. So the other conversations occurred with the town manager, for instance, John Potter, and his response was, if Star would like the mural, we will take it as part of the town and insure it, but you have to go to Star. So Star kind of wants to do this. And we thought it was gonna start, the Amtrak station would do its ribbon cutting in fall of next year, but it's looking more like spring of 2026. It could be fall, we don't know, but what they're asking for us is, they wanna know who owns the mural and, is it insured? So, this is where Brooks potentially comes in. We would like you to take ownership of the mural. And it would be included, as part of the larger town insurance policy. It wouldn't cost the town any more to add it. With that in mind, I went to one of our larger donors over the years, Dave Snyder, who, as you might know, is married to, Representative Sarah Coffey, and also has mastered and does master every audio segment on the Trail at Guilford Sound, his big sound studio in Guilford. He's been helping finance the project over the years, and he agreed to put a $10,000 escrow account at Brooks for any care and maintenance that might be required for the mural once it's in place. We've already secured the funding to do the building of the mural with our architect and Bodad and others. We already have the funds in place to create that case and put the mural up. We'll also be creating new maps that are more attractive. We're already designing them. So we'll have, we have the funds also to print a whole bunch more maps in advance of the Amtrak opening. And that's basically it. We're hoping that our little advisory group that's currently at the Folk Life Center would move here to Brooks. We would kind of be organized to take care of the mural. And it would be the same group of people, adding the Bodette and the others that are working on the mural project itself. And we would kind of be the little mini committee that would be in charge of if there was any kind of problem with the mural in terms of, the only thing I could imagine might be some graffiti on the plexi or something like that that might need replacing. We would handle it, and we would have the funds to do that. At least for the foreseeable future. So that's it in a nutshell. I came today to sort of share this with you. I'm really excited about the prospect of bringing the mural into the town and having it be, you know, a central part of our culture and our history. And many, many more people will actually be able to know about it through its presence there. And yeah, and we'll probably do a little more fundraising as we move forward, but we wouldn't be expecting any kind of outlays from library budgets. In the past, we did get I think it was a $2,000 grant at one point from the Friends Memorial Library, which we matched because we had a federal match at that point from NEH. And that was to do some audio storytelling workshops here in this very room with the Vermont Folk Life Center. And we would foresee doing more things. We've been working with the Brattleboro area middle school, so there's a student dimension. We work with several elementary schools in the greater Brattleboro area. And if you go on the Words Trail, you'll hear some student work as well. And as I said, we're working on 22 new pieces that will, at least 22, that will be added to this in time for the And those are, again, all community produced. So it's a great project and we hope that, that you like the idea. We would require a letter to, the Amtrak's asking for a letter that states, who owns it and how it's being insured. And other than that, I don't foresee any other issues that would come up. But I'm here to answer any questions that you might have in hopes that you approve this measure.
How would we go about owning it? Is there must be some paperwork or something involved?
Not really.
No.
No, nobody owns it right now because the original project was Marlboro College, the Brattleboro Historical Society, Brooks Library, the Brattleboro Literary Festival, and the group Right Action. None of whom really own any of the products.
What does ownership mean then?
We need somebody to carry insurance.
And the town is saying, we'll do that as a part of what we insure for the library.
Yes.
It feels a little bit confusing because there isn't any entity who now owns it who can bestow it. No one's giving it to. So I think that's why.
Well,
we're all feeling a little-
It could be that the Vermont Life Center does that, even
Okay.
though, that would just be a nominal thing since we are a project that is at the Vermont Folk Life Center right now, legally and officially. They actually, carry the trademark for the app and for the podcast. They perform those functions for us. Star and I've had a discussion regarding would those functions move into the library then? Would an account move into the library? But we don't think it's necessary because the Folk Life Center is very, happy with the arrangement. They take 5% overhead every time we bring some money in, which is great for us. Most of you know that's very low. But they just don't have the wherewithal to actually own and maintain that. Here in Brattleboro, they're in the middle of it. They, at one point they thought they might want to take their words trail statewide or something. We don't really want to do that. We want to keep it unique to this Brattleboro area. So that concept kind of suffused. But they're very happy to continue the role that they've been playing as our fiscal sponsor. And I've been directing the project all along and I, have a pretty good track record. I'm a known entity here in town. So I think, if you needed there to be some piece of paper that says the Vermont Folk Life Center is giving this to the Brattleboro Brooks Memorial Law, I don't think that would be an issue for them.
And
I'm sitting here,
you go ahead.
I'm sitting here going, why would we do this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I need someone to tell me what might be the downside.
Yeah.
What might be like the sticky point?
Star, could you answer the questions about insurance and?
Yeah.
From the town?
So I've met with Patrick, who is our, Patrick Moreland, who is our representative to Passage, who is our insurer. And he said, there's no problem. We'll just add it to the list of things that they insure for the town. So that was great news. So, and with the $10,000 in escrow, even though I believe there is a $2,000 deductible if something, devastating happens to the whole mural, that would be insured and the $10,000 would certainly cover any $2,000 deductible. So
I'm gonna say just, if anything happened to the mural, you can't really replace it anyways. I mean,
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like a lot of our fine artwork. If something happened to one of our statues, you're not gonna replace the statue.
that's true.
yeah, that's true. Although, with insurance, we could conceivably commission
Yeah.
Cynthia to do it.
So there's that, and there's also the fact that the mural is a beautiful work of art, but if something did happen to it, we would have backup files to be able to print something that would be exactly the same thing, but just not in the ceramic.
So, and think here. And it is, you know, I love this because of course it's books. It is what we do. It is, it's a local artist. It's, you know, firmly rooted in this community. So you know, one of our values in our strategic plan is community. And this clearly, you know, it supports that. Also in our strategic plan, we talk about, you know, wanting to promote you know, to make the library visible. And this is something that everybody that takes the train is going to see, that this is part of Brooks Memorial Library. So that's people coming to visit, but also all of us that take the train. So with the generosity of Dave Snyder, I feel pretty confident. I feel pretty secure about this. You know, it's, again, we're looking at spring of 26. So it's not something that we have to scramble for, but we just have to let Amtrak know that we have accepted ownership. We have accepted guardianship of this mural. So
I just feel one thing though, it actually be the town owning it.
well, it would be because it, like anything, you know, the town insures this building and yeah.
So I think the select board, this should also be presented to the select board. Or the John Potter, if John Potter says, you know, no, we don't need to present it, that's fine. But I think the ownership letter would come. Yeah, it would come from Brooks Memorial Library, but understanding that it's the town that's gonna actually own.
Well, I can certainly check that and see if he feels that we need to take that extra step. Although, you know, we do acquire and accept ownership of a lot for this building without this. So I'm not too worried about that, but you know, it won't hurt.
There is the matter of the app maintenance. It's that we didn't really. I am assuming that will still stay at Vermont Folklore Center. In other words, we pay a fee every year, and it's at this point paid through 2035. To have the app up online so that if you have your phone and you're in front of the mural and you know, hit the button for Jody Williams, that you get it right away. And that's about an $800, $850 annual fee that we have paid up front to the end of 2030, December 2035. After that, the Vermont Folklife Center, this project hopefully will still be alive. We'll all be here, and that will have to be extended again. But I feel pretty confident that we'll be able to do that, one way or another, because we created this archive of these stories, and I don't, you know, even if we didn't have the app anymore, we would find another way to put them on, make them accessible. So, but I just mentioned that because that is an ongoing cost that's attached to the mural itself. So I just want to make you aware of that.
Does a person interact directly with the map, with the app?
Yes. Well, no, the map is sort of shows you, wow, there's all these dots. Who are these people with the little
And then you
initials?
go seek that
Yeah, and then,
more information about something you've noticed on the map, you within the app, you seek that.
right, it's right on your phone.
Yeah,
So you're waiting.
you're not
for the train.
like getting a QR code off the mural or.
You know, although we have some of these signs around,
Uh-huh.
you know, we're planning to do more of a blitz for the Amtrak opening with these signage kind of things,
Mhm.
particularly because there's a lot of sites right around.
Yeah.
The Amtrak station, there's one Tosticket Mountain, there's a story about Thoreau there, there's Anna Hunt Marsh Bridge, there's Charles Dana, Karl Marx's first editor in the United States, who is the namesake of that second, which will be a pedestrian bridge at this point. There's the Holstein Association, which has a story. We're working on a BMAC story on Wolf and Emily Kahn. Right now that will be added to the word trail. So there's just a critical mass of stories right around the Amtrak station, and we're hoping to have, maybe not exactly these posters, but some other kind of notation. And we've been really good about getting grants. You know, we've got Vermont Humanities Council grants, Arts Council grants, Thompson Community Foundation. There's been a lot of individual, like probably at least 100 individual donors to the project over its lifetime. So there are people who are looking to support the project that we feel really comfortable with. And sources of funding that we haven't even touched that I think would be available should we want to do this, particularly if we're doing it through Brooks Library. But yeah, I think I don't really see a downside for the library, especially since we're bringing in this $10,000 escrow account. Which I think would be more, you know, the Flexi's not. If something happens, to Plexiglass or something, it's really maybe $100 to. And our little team is not going anywhere, you know, our little committee that we have. So I feel like there'll always be people around the mural that care about it in town. So yeah, that's basically
You
it.
need a letter?
Excuse me?
How soon do you need a letter?
It would be nice to have it in the summer, but they're not assuring us about it. You know, we meet with Amtrak quarterly at this point. We meet with them again on July 17th. And I can tell them who's coming or whatever, but we have such a long time frame. We're really feeling comfortable with each other at this point, the Amtrak people and our team, so.
Anybody else have any questions?
So future fundraising, like seeking grant monies and so on, would be for the maintenance of the mural or for other projects?
Well, that depends really, you know, like if you've got a programming person coming in and Brooks decides they want to do a summer camp to make some stories for the Words Trail and work with BCTV, which is something I've heard, you know, discussed with BCTV. There's all kinds of ways to keep the project growing, particularly working with school age people.
Got it. I love like the Words Trail is just like, it's been such a brilliant like thing for Brattleboro. And I also am like, I wouldn't want us to be, personally, I would be concerned about the library having any implied responsibility to be writing grants and so on for ongoing Words Trail
Right.
efforts.
Well, that's why Star and I talked when we talked about it, and I talked to Vermont Folks, and they're very happy to keep the situation the way it is.
So it's really just custody of the map.
Yes. Unless you wanted it to do more, that would be the Brooks choice.
And I think we are always about community and looking at ways to, right? Just making sure it wouldn't be a situation where like, oh wait, hang on, you know, somebody's gotta make this continue, you know, I wouldn't want us to get caught in more
You don't need
more
that
of an
burden.
implied responsibility than we can fulfill.
Right.
Correct. And Liz and I have had conversations about that.
Yes.
Yeah, we're at capacity now and but by 2026, we should be able to say, yeah, we'll take the view.
Well, you know, really, there is nothing that you really have to do.
Right.
Because we're already doing it all. With that said, you could have whatever you want. Like right now, you know, we're designing, Chris Grotke and Cynthia are actually designing the exhibit itself. So there's the murals, but there'll be some accompanying text. And there'll be a logo for Brooks, or whatever you want. And you could see, well, you're a member of our advisory team anyway, so you would see the final designs for the actual exhibit, but you would be able to, you know, basically have a say in what the exhibit looks like.
And these are again, known entities in our community, Tom Odette and Cynthia, who
Yes.
did our field support graphic for our shed.
Yeah, and I don't think any of us are really planning to go anywhere anytime. I mean, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, we're all pretty, you know, centered here in town. Unlike some people are gonna take off.
It's just like you.
You never do know, which is why we like to keep some critical mass around the thing, you know.
Well, I think, doesn't got any more questions here. Thank you for coming to present to us.
Thank you.
And we'll be back in touch.
Okay. So this is where I leave.
Yeah.
I have a class at 7, so I should probably go get something to eat. Return my library books.
You have no idea what a riveting hour or so you'll be missing.
Actually thought of applying to join the library board, but I'm already on the Wyndham World Affairs Council and the Vermont Yankee Decommissioning Panel, so those two keep me pretty busy, so. Thank you, maybe someday. Thank you very much for your time.
You explained this much better than I could have.
Okay, it's a pleasure to come. Thank you so much. Okay.
We'll be in touch.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too.
Yes. Eating another go.
So everybody have a chance to read the minutes of the last meeting on June 11th? Is there any changes, additions, deletions, etc.? Minutes?
Oh, well organized.
All in favor of accepting them? Raise your hands. Thank you, Liz, once again. Good job.
Do you want to? On this. The executive session.
What?
The executive session.
That was, okay, we'll have that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have, we'll have a straight conversation on that. Thank you for reminding.
Did you start this? Oh.
Take
What,
one.
you need to vote to your own? Yeah.
Number 5.
You have to get up.
So, friends at the library, Karen, did you attend the last one?
I did, yeah.
Did you have fun?
Sorry?
Did you have fun?
I did. I always have fun. Yeah, it was particularly fun because Kevin had us start off by introducing ourselves by talking about what book we had read that had the most effect on our. And that was really fun. It was very interesting. Yeah, some surprises. I really.
No way.
That was a cool way to start the meeting. Yeah, so most of what they talked about is things that have already happened since. They're in good shape financially, doing fine. They talked about the garden party. There was a huge amount of discussion about the weather forecast. And of course it did. Didn't happen as planned, but, and then talking about the ice cream, social in September, which is going to be at, Gallery Walk. So planning for that. Inviting people to, come to the 4th of July parade, March of the 4th of July parade. I was very excited to be able to at least be a participant in that. And then, all of the requests that we made of them, they passed. So that's it. Is there anything else that you recall that specifically needs mentioned?
No, I think that. And I was just checking and Circa is for this month.
They are having meeting in July.
Oh,
August.
all right. Yes, it is. So next month, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
just the next time, next one. Yeah.
Confused because I actually had it on my calendar to go to the breakfast this past month, which I had. And it so happened was Juneteenth in my
Right.
calendar. Show up at the library, and the library's closed.
Okay.
And apparently none of that even mattered because Karen was the one that was going anyways. I don't know how any of that really came to be, but can I get a little credit? for
Yes,
mine?
yes.
The last meeting.
Maybe we need to see that.
All right.
Probably similar place.
I'm always happy to go if I'm free. I really enjoy it.
Was the meeting actually on Juneteenth?
No.
Yeah.
26.
they moved the.
But so is there one in
Did
July?
you hear?
No, there's not one.
It's-
Oh,
Yeah, because I was saying. Anyway,
I maybe just,
We are moving on. Minor, good exception. Yeah. How find it?
finance, yeah, we met yesterday, sorry, I didn't have time to get the minutes into the packet, but. I'm a little scattered, but, no, obviously we've been spending time talking about how to manage the transition, that we got some ideas. Of course, if anyone is burning to learn how to be triggered, they should come home. All right, so say first topic would be this ongoing question of how the town handles appreciation in their accounting of library assets. I've been trying to get this conversation going with the town. Supposed to even have a conversation with Kimberly Frost, the accounting people there, finance people. Yesterday, I will say she blew me off. She so that's, I don't know if that's gonna go anywhere before, I kind of camp down the time I commit to the stuff. We can talk about that in the finance committee further. But so that we were just trying to get a toe in to with the town to have educate ourselves in the starting points. As a reminder that the point was not to be caught flat-footed in the big bill to the sides because they don't want to pony up for politics or just economics, at times, whatever. So other topic, I took a little bit of time to just look at like what our wage bill here at the library. In order to think about ways to formalize our year-end bonuses that we give out routinely, informally, it's part of our policy, but if we're going to budget around giving a bonus every year, some way of doing it formulaically and just look at the total wage bill. If you took 1% of it, which is gross wages, but pre-tax wages for all the employees, it would come to around 6,500 to a little less than employee if you just gave it all equally. So some kind of math like that give us figures to expect. The way we've been budgeting for our 4% raw certainly leaves plenty of room to do that. Say more. So that is just, I guess, FYI. We've already, continued the status quo, the way, our budgeting categories have changed this year 24. But it's something we have to implement a new 6 or if it were to be a budget. Find the money, outside of the explicit line item. Beyond that, I'm just gonna say, take a look at the reports that Star put in, the finance reports, the one, second. Endowment accounts. This actually is generated by the town software, which is not, so it's not from the QuickBooks accounts that Trevor just that kind of happened as a duplication several months ago when they changed to this new software. This is kind of setting Star up for a conversation that we started at the finance committee, that I'm hand off to Star, but the balances are large, it's the end of the fiscal year. This is per usual, we usually roll into the next fiscal year with a fairly sizable surplus, which, is,
And it includes the book shelter, book invoice.
yeah, this would be net of that. I think. I can't really speak for the town figures, 'cause I don't know what. Always want QuickBooks, they might have different cash or accrual basis for some accounts, I don't know why. Yeah, we should figure that out, but, so all that to say, roughly, we'll be rolling, if you took off the table buildings and grounds budget that you have, 30 plus K or so, and a couple of other things that we just wouldn't dip into, take the surplus from. But this, we're pushing the 100K in dollars that roll over into the next fiscal year. That is context I'm giving you for what Star into Star, whatever order you want. But for discussion. If there's anything else, unless the committee had more to add, that needs to be said.
The 100K include the items that have been auctioned off on the elections.
That should be stripped out. 20K or. Double check.
The other, John's checking, the only other item that I believe we have in that committee is, with my understanding that the Historical Society of Wyndham County picked up their stuff today from the art room. So Jean has more space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so take your, thank you, Anne. So you took away 18, 20K, it's all 80K. But the takeaway.
Anybody have any questions for John? Thank you. Technology Committee, Nikki, would you be able to step in since Leo's not here? I know the minutes were posted for the.
I don't have the minutes in front of me, but I'll say that the majority of the committee meeting was a discussion about paying library users about their technology needs and desires. So we're drafting a survey that will be both digital and on paper to get a sense of what kinds of classes people might want, what kinds of like physical technology, if people are looking for apps, and then just things that they might need support with. So, how to organize email or avoid scam emails or how to use certain types of technology. So it's just in construction right now. I'm going to be the person drafting that survey, and we'll bring it back to the committee, which won't meet next month, but we'll bring it back the following month and have a draft and hope to get that out to the public as well. We also talked about the whole network update that that's happening, and of course Matt is handling that beautifully and everything.
Any questions? Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah.
Buildings and grounds, Karen.
So, as you indicated, we did get the invoice for the shelter. That project is officially done to be successful. We talked about the children's room doors. Appreciated the opportunity to do that at a low cost we had originally expected. Thank you, Joyce. Connection. And has anything further happened since we met?
Yes, I let Mary know, and Mary, I think it was this morning she got back to me, and I haven't had a chance to get back to her.
Okay. But it looks like that will be a very satisfactory resolution.
Yeah.
So we appropriated the funds for that officially. No official word from the grant as yet. Really hoping Star knew something that I didn't know, but.
I think August maybe.
Yes, we did, they did get in touch with us just to, you know, just to follow up, make sure we're still interested, and so that's great, and, you know, so I figure we're still in the running for something, we'll see.
And they're saying, you said August, I hadn't heard that.
Well, they said about a
It's
month to
back.
6
I think
weeks.
Okay.
Right, instead of with the shorter stuff. Right?
Right, and they had 70 applications,
Okay.
so, and they're very complicated applications, as we all know.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so we're still waiting on that, but hopeful. Let's see, and then we had invited Robin Sweetapple to join us, and she was very enthusiastic. I wondered if she had an extra cup of coffee that day. She was.
oh, she's
She was delightful, she's always delightful, and full of ideas. So, we looked at, she's an architect.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and she consulted with us on preparing the grant and did a lot of work and has done a lot. Yeah, I'm sorry that Leah's not here because I know that he'll be delighted to know that she has some ideas about signage. She's going to be looking at, aside from what we may or may not do if and when we get the full grant, which we can still do, but she has some other ideas that she's looking at.
Is she doing this as a volunteer?
No, we're paying her. We had appropriated the funds for that.
She did, she and Monroe, when they did the plans for, for the grant, worked at, you know, it was virtual volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and, yeah, and then we, voted to be able to pay her for some consulting. And she's gonna be looking at interior spaces too, and possibly get some. But rearrange some office space and get some better space for the children's room.
And maybe some opportunities for more privacy for people taking phone calls. Hey, you got the notes. I don't need to read the notes. Yeah, I think that's about it. If anybody has any questions.
And I will just say that, on this grants, budget sheet, that if you look down here under BR20 projects, the $4,100 is the shelter. So it's definitely already included in this.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I just noticed that the next meeting is July 19th. I'm going to be in Connecticut, but I could join on Zoom. Unless we decide we need to meet. Okay, any questions about that? Okay.
Oh, we'll skip over strategic planning because once again, we did not meet. Department reports. I know the children's room is probably straight out of programs. It says,
And we're all, you know, it's just been run for like the last week. So mine was really late, this afternoon, but.
thank you for your report.
And very short. And Jean has been working with, refugees today from the Congo, and ferreting out all kinds of stuff from the archives, and trying to work out with the reformer how we can get it online, which has been just excruciating, and a month-long project at least.
There's two different databases affected, and both the historical access to the reformer and current access to the reformer. It's a big brutal world, I think, of of who owns what and how it's provided and at what cost, what technology, so. Difficult, and I knew that people used the reformer for research, but you don't know it until you have to go back to the paper file and the reader, you don't really know what you're going until you have to find that the easy, clear searching you can do. So that's been tricky. It's just kind of like whenever you run out of gas while you got the tire that needs the attention, and it's just like, no. So that's been the kind of background.
So in a way, you've been time traveling squared because you have to go back in the last centuries,
Technology
to access microfilm. You go back in time.
That's true. It's
The double winner.
It's a Star Trek episode.
the one involving the little card. Which are cool. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just helping a local author who's done a lot of interesting stuff in African American history, looking for help with finding publishing opportunities. So it's fun when that happens. Afternoon with a bunch of different things to help their project. Then it's sort of, sorry, I'm terrible at getting regular department. Maybe that's my. And it's just really hard to get the time to tell the story about everything that's going on. And I know that numbers are part of it too, and I tend to do them like on a quarterly basis. There is an aspiration to try to communicate because we do on the staff appreciate everything that the board does to make what we do possible. So, so if you don't get like a regular report, it's not for lack of appreciation of your work.
We really haven't been under the impression that you're saying.
But it's, I mean, I get like information, right? Is there, so like you can't really say, oh, we're doing a lot. Yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff there. What are they doing? Well, a lot of stuff. Now, like specificity is helpful. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. And I may take over.
And you mentioned appreciation for the board's work, but I just want to go on record. Nothing but massive appreciation and admiration for Jean's work too. From little things like helping this couple from the Congo fill out forms and find a place to sit down and fill out the forms. With their person who brought them here, which was another effort. From that to, helping everybody do a million things and then jumping up and having to help out at the circulation desk because we're just so busy that.
Yes, certainly. Really happy.
Yeah, and explain to people why they need a library. Things like that.
Is this?
Thank you so much, Jane. I just feel like the pause is necessary. Thank you. Sounds so great. And it does sound beautiful.
And in an atmosphere that is more and more.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. On a happy thing, I do want to pass these out because my fabulous colleague Amanda, I think she really nailed it this year with like, how do you get grown-ups to participate in the summer reading program? And so if you don't have one already, I'm passing these around.
These are great.
People are having a good time with it because they seem like really, like they're not, they like listen to an audio book.
Except there's some weird things on.
And then there's some, there will be a raffle for, gift certificate to local bookstores, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Deliver that in 4 more weeks.
Yeah, Amanda, if I would make sure.
You got on hold for
It's just like,
No, I think you don't have to have them in any particular order, you just have to do 5 to be able to. Move the direction.
can you do 5 in 1 square?
So hear that, I would do.
Looking to see how many of these I could already check them out. Not many.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm just gonna skip over a little bit this one of this policy for emergency and closure due staffing. We presented this April, May, and June. Have we voted? Is that, we need to vote on this now. We have a forum today, even though we're missing 2 people. So would somebody make a motion?
Sure, I move that we adopt a policy on closures and staffing that's been presented at the past 3.
Second. All in favor, raise your hands. All opposed? Anybody abstaining? Pass, motion passes. We can cross that off the agenda. It's like- would you like to talk about social work and safety assistance update?
What here? Yes, that we're supposed to, I spoke with Norma today. I spoke with her a couple weeks ago. Once they get more of their community resource officers and the social work liaison in place, she's planning on having them actually spend physical time. That
Have they been here? They used to be here quite a bit, 1 day a week and.
yes, Mary,
Do they
yeah,
still do that?
that's from HCRS. That's a care coordinator. Yeah, a care coordinator.
And
who
they're still.
comes- Yeah, she comes on Mondays and Thursdays, and it's quite remarkable that somehow, the whole place can be, as June said, charged. It can be, or Karen said, charged. It can be complete chaos, and then 5 minutes before it gets here, everybody. We're here to spend more time here.
They have an informant out there in the windows.
well, that's different than increased coverage.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
The emotional support.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just go down because
Well-
I was kind of tie in and do
I-
better. Let's move to emotional support.
Okay, actually, I was going to propose that we put that under the executive session too, but I guess,
I can do, it's up to you.
okay, yeah, let's put that under the executive session.
Okay,
Um,
Unsung Heroes Award.
so Nancy Olson sent me the draft of she spent 4 hours here, with nothing to eat. I offered her expired snacks. I
did not know.
And so, she did a lovely job, interviewing the staff, everyone from, technical services back of the housework to everybody on the main floor, and observed some of Rhyme time. And so she has managed to distill all that to all the articles. So she just asked me to do some checking, and that arrived yesterday afternoon. I haven't gotten the questions back to her. So that sounds great.
And that's gonna go in.
The reformer. And then she does mention that there was originally planned a celebration for June, which has been postponed to September. And we did talk about having an open house in September, and so if we wanted to do that as part of that, be a possibility. And that's something I think for strategic planning to talk about.
Have you thought any more about you're gonna have photographs of the staff?
Yes, unfortunately, that fellow is not doing that anymore. The person that I was thinking of, he's doing sort of, some portrait video documentaries, and, so we'll have to find someone else. And we did have who suggested, rather than photographs, drawings, which would be great if we could find it like a caricature.
That would
You know,
be
somebody-
great.
Yeah, that, so artist renderings of step, which would be really fun.
Shadar, who was the photographer you were thinking of?
Christopher Ryan, he did a big exhibit at the Latches when I first came to town.
There was also that man who did the photographs, they were all over the town.
Ezra,
No, Bill Wilson. He's a runner. It might have.
yeah.
They were like in Amy's, they were in, no, this, I don't, how long ago were you? Yeah, maybe a little longer.
Mm.
They were beautiful. They were all black and white, really large.
Hmm.
I'll see if I can remember his name, and I see him a lot.
And Ezra Disler does, and black. He always makes everything
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, he,
That's really the key. That's why.
You could ask, Alicia. Was just here,
Oh, listen.
of contacts, maybe she would have an idea of somebody that could do drawings.
Or maybe somebody at the museum
Right.
Or Riverdale.
Yeah.
yeah,
I remember now.
Yeah.
her pictures, John Green. He does that.
That. Oh.
Yeah, I've not seen his character.
So John Burney is a person who lives locally, who is also national, nationally known illustrator. And cover for children's.
New legislation regarding library and board recordings, is there anything you want to report on that?
Right, so, Lindsay and the youth services staff have been working with the other, senior or other full-time staff to work out the transition to the whole, confidentiality after age 12. So they've worked out a new application for a library card, and we've been working with Catamount Library Network to change our database and do the kind of work that needs to be done to make kids age out of kids cards at age 12. And then we're gonna have a YA card, a young adult card up to 15, and then 16 and above will be adult.
Sounds like a non-trivial amount of work.
No, it's not. And
Yeah.
it's not unfraught.
It's brought from the beginning.
Yes.
Too, right.
Yeah, and
Send the bill to the state, maybe see if they pay it.
What did you say?
Send the bill to the state for the extra version.
yeah. So, and there hasn't been, having a consortium is fantastic. It makes us so much stronger. But, as you can imagine, with 24 libraries, there's not been uniform agreement on how this should be handled.
Way too many cooks.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Was
And
there
all
a
of them
committee?
with very strong seasoning.
Is there at least like a clear committee that's gonna?
No. It's a committee of 24. Maybe even a few more, because, some big steps.
Over here.
But, And then the other question that Anne had, I believe, about taping committee meetings or recording committee meetings, nobody tapes. Recording committee meetings is something that I'm going to ask about.
Thank you.
I know he's he's looking at it, things like the planning board, all these other things, what has to be reported and posted.
That's good.
Okay.
And regarding Brattleboro Words Trail morals, I think, the couple people absent today. So we'll talk about it, have it on the agenda for next month. And just explain it to people that are missing them. I think they can watch. They can.
They could.
Make homework.
We're going to, and Matt is gonna try and just capture the sound of it. Because otherwise it would take up so much
Yeah.
space on our website. So I'm not sure, the way we left it last week was, he said, just press the report and I'll take care of it. So we'll see what we can do. Otherwise, we may have to get a digital recorder and upload it or something like that. But this will take care of it for this month.
So the requirement is that there be sound, there isn't a requirement.
Yeah, just an audio recording, and it has to be 30 days after the minutes have been approved. So that means really 60 days after the. Right.
Now, there are those who believe that like C-SPAN and sunshine laws is the beginning of the end of deliberative democracy in this country. The beginning of retail politics.
You're getting your syllabus ready.
Yeah.
I will also check on the issue of the John Potter. I'll check the John. It needs to go before this.
And just get his feedback in general, and how he feels about it. I'm sure it does need to, but I myself would feel more comfortable
Okay.
because of something backfires, like as Jane was thinking, you just, those things,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't want more responsibility.
Yeah, right, yeah. The other thing I'd like to know is more about the organization, so if you can email me that whoever's receiving the contributions and donations.
Oh, sure, the Folk Life Center? Yeah,
Yeah.
Vermont Folk Life Center, sure. We can put that out, and also the words, okay, and the words, the words. Right. It's a words, but
Like
Words trail.
Just like.
And Folk Life Center, it's a legit organization. Yeah.
Okay, do we have anything else Scott, before we move into executive session?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna move us into executive session at 5:58. And we're gonna kick it in.
Nice to see you.
You have to speak. When you rise to executive session, you have to state the purpose. Or
We discussed.
probably personnel matters.
Personnel matters and
And since you're an expert, since you're experienced in this. When we're in executive session, she doesn't have to put anything in the meeting minutes.
The only thing that needs to be recorded is that when we leave executive session, if we are voting on an issue, you have to record.
Oh, okay, but we still have to put personal matters in contract.
Right, yes.
Oh,
That's
you
it.
might
Say
not
the rising
be
move into
voting.
executive session to discuss personnel matters and contract. Period.
Okay.
And then
You have to report it.
Motion to move the staff line item. Want $2,500. For staff.
second,
Did we also, it comes out of which fund?
Yeah.
Well, it would have to come out of the staff lead
Yeah, lead
line item
line.
for purposes. $2,500. Third.
All in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed?
We probably have
No
to stay on.
abstaining.
Aye.
That's true.
Unanimous. I'll stay with you there. Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you, everyone. You're an awesome board. You're an amazing board that takes
You're an
good care of our
amazing leader.
staff. Yeah. future. Somebody should be.
The meeting is adjourned at 6:44.
All right. Turn off the record.